Hi guys, it's me. I've not calmed down, I'm afraid to say. I'm still fuming with what transpired just then. It's not about the result, because in isolation, in a vacuum, a point at St James's Park is actually quite good, because historically, Newcastle, hard team, St James's Park, Boca team, blah, blah, blah. This isn't about in a vacuum, though. This is about the context of what we've just witnessed. It's about the context of the title race as well, but it's mainly about the fact that there was so much wrong today. Even before a ball was kicked, there was so much wrong. And I don't like to criticize lineups because you never know what's going to happen. It might be a totally different system to what you're thinking. You might be totally taking that in mind, like, oh, that player's playing there and it's working out really nicely, and maybe you're proven wrong. So I like to reserve judgment until then, but I'm not over it. I'm not over it because the issues were so avoidable and the end product was so fucking wank that it was not worth the whole exercise of the 90 minutes in doing it. It was really frustrating. We're going to be talking about the mistakes, in my opinion, that were made from a certain bald man. We're going to be talking about what could have happened, what should have happened, the good performances, of course, but this is mainly going to be a negative stream, guys. So if you're expecting me to be... I like to think I'm normally quite positive. If you're expecting me to be happy-go-lucky today, you're in for a bad time, because I'm an angry boy. Anyway, shout out LB, absolute boy. That's my lad. This is always a back-and-forth show, so I do want your thoughts in. Get your comments in the live chat, guys, in the comments after. I try to respond to comments after the fact, but it is easier for me if you do the live chat stuff. Yeah, big up to LB. That's my absolute boy. Drop Gunda when he was shit today. We'll be talking about everyone today, what the issues were, and why. And not just like, because there's one thing in saying this player was shit, but we've got to go like, but why? Why did they fail? Or why did the team fail? So it's not enough to just say this player was shit. It's like, why? Yeah, and Arsenal are already winning. There we go. Yes, I mean, of course they were going to beat Leicester. So this means that we are going to not be top of the table anymore. And look, it's 6 games in. Are we? Am I being a pathetic baby boy about it? And am I overreacting? Maybe we'll still win the title. But I tell you what, that does not preclude the fact that there were too many errors in today's setup and in today's game. I'm sure LB's touching it all already. We'll be diving into that momentarily. We have to call Pep out, says Denton. Let's be angry boys together. Yeah, angry boys and girls. Shit start to your 22nd birthday. With Denton, happy birthday, mate. Hopefully, City can get a result for you next time. One word, Savinho is our number 1 winger. Costa wants to blame today for lack of control. It was joking when Newcastle player is attacking. I'm sick of the way you're playing, so uncreative and predictable, yet we get our chances and miss them. Absolutely. Kelkster, thank you so much for the super chat, mate. It means the world. Old, slow, and no creativity. Why no Phil and Savio? And that is a perfect... TLDR, let's end the stream right now, because that's a perfect summation. Let's talk about it, shall we? So let's try to think of what is the rationale behind Pep's selection today, because eyebrows were raised by me anyway, and I think by a lot of the internet community, not just City fans as well. The whole footballing community seemed to look at that starting lineup and went, what? Why? Let's remember, guys, this is no disrespect to Newcastle. I will say that I thought a draw was probably a fair result today, given how weak Kim played. The main issue was it shouldn't be. This is a Newcastle team who have so many flaws in the way they play, and that's been demonstrated this season. The space they leave between their defensive line, the midfield line, the offensive line is mental. It is ridiculous and insane. They're there for the taking. They haven't been playing well this season. They don't have one of their best players, or maybe their best player, in Isak. I know it's at St James's Park, and I know that on paper it's a hard game. But I'm sorry, that shit is not good enough. Newcastle were there for the taking, in my opinion. So how does Pep respond to that? Obviously, Rodri's out. Of course he is. The team that he opts for is well, first of all, Walker starting, which upset me, to be honest. I saw Lewis and Walker. I was like, oh God, Lewis left back. And I was like, oh, but there's 4 defenders. So Lewis must be in midfield. Huh, okay, interesting. So then I looked to the rest of the players. I was like, right, so who's going to be attacking? You know, who's being our creative player? So there's Lewis, there's Kovacic, there's Bernardo, there's Gundogan. Huh. Right. So who's going to be creating? Where's our playmaker? Because there's no De Bruyne. And despite people's incorrect interpretations of what Foden is as a player, he is a creator and he is a playmaker. Whether through passing or dribbling or first touch or half-turn, whatever. That's what Foden is. So clearly, this midfield was designed to control the game and death by 1,000 cuts. Yeah? And that's it. That's what it was always going to be, apparently. Because if you play Lewis and Kovacic and Gundogan, you are basically accepting that you're accepting that you're not really going to create a lot in the game, and you're hoping, and that to me is a scared midfield. There's obviously no Rodri there, but that to me is like a midfield of I am scared. I am scared of the counter attack here. So because of that, I'm going to have a midfield which is ridiculously controlled, and it means that we don't even lose the ball ever, and it just means that Newcastle will never get a foothold in the game. The opposite effect happened, lads, because we've touched on this before. There's not nearly enough physicality. If that's how you want to run it, that's absolutely fine, but you have to have the control aspects, otherwise you are not gaining anything. There was no control throughout that game. Off ball, on ball, whatever. There's simply not enough physicality in that midfield, and there is zero playmaking. So we knew there was going to be no creative element from that midfield for the most part, as we've discussed. There's no one to do it, basically. But we didn't even get that control aspect. So we were sacrificing offensive prowess for the purposes of midfield and defensive solidity, but we didn't get either of them. So we were trading everything for nothing. It was like the worst. This is the worst trade deal in the history of trade deals, maybe even ever, as Donald Trump would once said, or whatever. So that happened. We got very fortunate with that goal. Newcastle made one mistake and we capitalised. We'll talk about the good players in a minute. Thanks to Jack Grealish. It's a thing. Mirza, we just drew and we dropped 2 points. Of course, we're going to be negative. I'll tell you what, okay, guys, we'll do the stream Mirza wants to do. Yeah, guys, so it was a really tough game. And to be honest, I don't think there was any issues with that lineup by Pep. And I actually think that the lads, every single one of those lads played really, really well. Yeah, and it was actually a really solid game and a solid performance. Like, what world are we living on? We're not living in cuckoo land here. We're being pragmatic, and we're being realistic, we're being genuine. There's no point of talking bollocks. We might as well say it how it is. We were shit today. That is how it is. Again, you're trading everything for nothing. That doesn't seem like a good deal to me. That happened. The setup in general was very odd. Sometimes we were doing a 2-2-6. Sometimes it was a 3-2. I couldn't quite figure it out. I am going to have to watch it again. And sadly, after this show, I'm going to watch it back again so I can do my analysis video on it. But as I say, I will be watching it again to figure it out. But as I say, it was mainly like a 2-2-6 situation. Really, really weird. A really weird team. Rico Lewis, and let's touch on those midfielders now. Actually, no, let's touch on Akanji, because someone mentioned he stepped into midfield, and he absolutely did. It was a back, as I say, for the most part, it seemed to be Diaz and Walker as the back two. Ahead of them, Kovacic and Akanji, and ahead of them, the rest of our players. So Lewis was pushing up into that right half space. Gvardiol a lot also pushing up into that left half space. Grealish, Bernardo Silva, the wide players. So there was no false winger situation going on here. Our wingers were playing as wingers. I thought that maybe it was going to be the 2-3-5 with Gvardiol pushing out to left wing and Walker pushing out to right wing. That is the thing. I think you need to draw the distinction between a post-match analysis and your reactions for City. People are conflating the two. The analysis of the game can be harsh, but there's not much else to it. I mean, this is sort of an analysis as well. It's like a post-mortem thing. We're not talking about the penalty. We'll discuss it. Walker should do better. It's a penalty. We move on. We're not talking about that. Yeah, Akanji, in fairness, I thought he did good, to be fair. Defensively, solid for the most part. Outpaced Gordon a couple of times. So that was nice. Gvardiol was brilliant. Obviously scored the goal. But the fact that we're having, and Grealish, again, my man of the match, personally, but the fact that we are having to rely so much on Gvardiol and Grealish to create is concerning. It's very concerning. DJ says, there were moments when in the first half, Gvardiol was next to Haaland in the box. What's Pep up to? Well, Gvardiol is basically doing the Lewis role, but on the left. So it's like what he did against Arsenal. He's pushing up into those, into the channels on that left side. So this is why I say it's like a staggered 2-2-6 sort of thing. He's basically doing the reverse Rico Lewis. So he's very advanced at times. And yeah, Gundogan is the 10, and then Kovacic deeper. Alongside Akanji. Maybe that's for like a rest defense perspective. You've got Akanji's legs for the counter-attack. And again, Grealish was very good in that first half, as good as he could be. He got the assist for the goal. He created the goal. I thought he was really good. And as I say, Gvardiol obviously got the goal. Gvardiol, I expect him to do that. Chelsea beating Brighton 2-1. Wow. But lads, tell me, someone please tell me, for my own sanity, where was our attack down the right? In the majority of that game, where was it? Why are we playing Bernardo Silva at right wing in 2024? In late 2024, by the way. We know that that's not a thing anymore. We know that he's not that sort of player anymore. He is a central player. Okay? And actually, he did quite well when he went to the centre, and Savio went to the right. There is still a place for Bernardo in this team, of course there is. There were lots of people on my... It was exactly Herbal. There were lots of people in my chat on watching who were saying, you know, this play's finished, get him out of here, I don't agree with that, because there is a role for everyone here, but Bernardo's role has got to be centrally. From the middle, exactly, Iptris. He's got to be playing centrally. If you remember last season, we struggled until Bernardo moved from the right and went centrally. That is his position. That is his role. If he's got any role on this side, it is centrally. There's no place for him on the right anymore. It can't happen. It's a defensive move from Pep. He did look better when he went. Exactly, DJ. And because he's a central player now, he's not that right-sided player anymore. You're absolutely right. It is a defensive move, and it's too defensive. You've got Grealish and Bernardo out on the wings, who are very conservative midfielders, and that's fine if your midfield isn't conservative. Okay? But our midfield is also conservative, with Gundogan and Lewis and Kovacic and Akanji, and I guess Gvardiol as well technically was in midfield for the majority of it. So our most creative and expansive player is Gundogan, who is still a wonderful player, but obviously isn't the player he was a few years ago. And then, who's our second most expansive player then? It's probably Gvardiol from a central position, and he's a centre-back. I know he plays left-back for us, but you get what I mean. So the setup, before a ball was kicked, I was annoyed. Before a ball was kicked, I was upset and angry. I wasn't happy with that. I know we scored the goal, and that was fine. But then, oh my days, something's happened in the... Oh, Palmer with a nice goal. I'll have a look at it later. He would have been nice to be on the pitch right now. There was another lad on the bench who would have started, but oh well. Oh yeah, and DJ, this is the thing. All these players are just doing as they're told. It was like, again, in the Arsenal game, when people are saying, why is Gvardiol in the box? Why is Foden in the box? Why isn't he outside it? Well, these guys are being instructed by one man. So it is Pep's fault, to be honest. So we had no foothold in the game, right? That much was obvious before a ball was kicked. We got very fortunate with the goal because Newcastle made one mistake and we were able to capitalise. Fine. Newcastle were always threatening. Thankfully, never really materialised into anything. But, as we've discussed, that control element was non-existent for the most part. If you're going to start such a conservative attack and a conservative midfield, you better back it up with control. At least make it a boring game of football where they haven't got a sniff, and that's not what happened. So that was really frustrating. Thank you very much for that, Sebastian. All our 3 attackers should be goal threat. Who said only Haaland should score? Well, Bernardo isn't a goal threat at right wing. He's as we discussed, he's not anything anymore at right wing. Palmer, yeah, guys, he's not here, so don't worry about it. Yeah, this is why, like, people need to realize with this, we're not going to make this a Palmer show, but people say, oh, Palmer was a mistake, blah, blah, blah. You've got to realize that if we didn't sell Palmer, then he wouldn't be the player he is now. He's only been allowed to be the player he is now because he got sold and became the main man at Chelsea. He's never going to be the main man here. So the player that exists now in Palmer that player doesn't exist at City. It's like Lavia. That player that he is now doesn't exist. So this idea that it was a mistake because look at the player he is now is irrelevant. He wouldn't be allowed to be that player because he's not starting over De Bruyne and he's not starting over Foden. So we've got to try to move on and try to think about it in logical terms. And anyway, we actually had a difference maker on the bench, or two actually. Didn't start either of them, and took too late to bring him on. Now, let's talk about that now, because again, we could all identify. But would he ID? Would he? Because he's saying that, but again, he'd never be that player. Where the start's coming from? Is he starting over? Is he starting over De Bruyne? Is he starting over Foden? We all know how much Pep loves Bernardo. Is he starting over Bernardo? No, he wouldn't. So it's not. I don't agree. I don't agree. And again, we need to move on. Please move on and accept that it's a different player than what would exist at City. Please make sure to get the likes up on the video, by the way, lads. I don't know how many that we are on right now, but I already know it's not good enough because I'm a greedy boy. There's over 300 people watching, amazing stuff. Let's therefore get to 200 likes. Only 42. Lads. Come on. 200 likes. Let's get to 200 as quickly as possible. And then I'll shut up about it. I won't. That's a lie. So, no, we're not pep out. Like, let's chill. We can criticize people. But that's not the same as this player should never start for us anymore, or we've got to sell this player. There's a very different situation there. I'm going to criticize Pep a lot in this stream, but he's still the best manager in the world. So it's not a case of, oh, do you want him out then? No. But these people aren't perfect. It's okay to criticize and not go too far the other way, where people are like, oh, Gundogan, stinky first half, sell him, release him. It's like, no, let's chill out. But Gundogan was poor, though. Yeah. So, as we've outlined, setup was weird, didn't achieve the desired effect. We scored off a mistake. Grealish and Gvardiol were fantastic in that goal, of course they were. Gundogan a few times, and that's the thing, we went 1-0 up, and then you saw the gaps that Newcastle have had all season. And there, we had to exploit them. We had to kill them in that moment. We had to kill the game off whilst we were 1-0 up, and therefore they had to come out a little bit more. But sadly, Gundogan kept making really weird decisions or poor execution. It was odd. It was bizarre. It's so unlike him. Even like that opportunity he had where Newcastle made a mess of it, and Gundogan opted to try to chip the keeper. The opportunity was gone. If you were going to chip the keeper, you had to do it immediately. He had the best striker in the world on his left. And really weird decisions there. Odd. Really, really odd. Lewis had a poor game. And I'm a big Rico Lewis fan, but he was poor. He in his post-match press conference, Pep talked about the need, the desire for, he was basically concerned about Newcastle's physicality. That was the concern. So why are you starting Lewis and Kovacic and Gundogan? If your concern is one of physicality, why is that the play? You don't start Lewis in that case. Or you seriously don't start him in midfield. You probably drop Walker, or maybe just don't even play Lewis at all. But either way, if you are going to play Lewis, you play him at right back. You don't put him in out and out midfield. Like, it's mad. Insane. So there we go. Harsher, absolutely. We'll get on to Foden. Don't you worry. Don't you worry. Many errors. But hey, half-time, 1-0. Okay? Right. But we didn't create that much. We weren't that good going forward. We relied on a Newcastle error and then we relied on subsequent errors, and we relied on Newcastle opening up a little bit more. Okay, so maybe we can change that relatively early on. I would have done it at half-time because it was pretty obvious for everyone to see, like it was against Arsenal. It was obvious to see what needed to change. We needed Savio on from the start. We needed Foden on from the start. Let's bring them on. Let's do that. Let's do that, shall we? No, that's not what happened. That's not what happened. Now, sadly, Walker made an error for their goal. He's playing everyone onside. It's poor positioning from him. He's looking down the line. He can clearly see that he's the last man. He can clearly see he's playing everyone onside. It is poor from him. It's a shame because he had a very good first half. Really annoying from that perspective. They get the goal. Fine. You can say, did Ederson make an error? Well, it's 1v1, so I don't expect the goalkeeper to save it then, so I don't really care that it's a penalty. It's fine. And now, suddenly, it's too late. So when was that goal scored? In the 58th minute. So Pep saw that game for like another 10 minutes and decided that nothing needed to change when we were doing literally nothing in that second half, which was really, really annoying. Foden came on in the 65th minute. You're only giving him 25 minutes. It's too late by that point. They've scored the goal. Now they can just sit back and the lines aren't there to be, and the space isn't there to be exploited between the lines. And Savio didn't even come on until when? Was it the 80th minute? It was, the 81st minute. Now, there's so much wrong with these substitutions. As we discussed, Foden just should have started. As soon as he came on, there was like a period from like the 65th minute to the 75th minute, we kept creating. And it all stemmed from Foden being on the pitch. Whether it was him directly passing the ball, or finding players, the first touch, or whatever. He had a shot, should have done better. Of course he should have. But at least he was in a position to get the shot off. At least that was a thing. What was happening before then? Nothing. That is what. It should have happened a lot earlier. As soon as he comes on, we play a lot better. Isn't that a shock, guys? Isn't that a shock? We looked so much better when Foden came on the pitch. And we actually had some authority in the midfield. And we actually had some creativity and playmaking in the midfield. And good first touches in the midfield. And we looked more of a threat in general. Weird coincidence that. Just happened to coincide when Foden came on. Or maybe not. Maybe it's not a coincidence. Of course it's not a coincidence. I'm being sarcastic. Savio came on. He was good as well. But why is he coming on in the 80th minute? He's got 10... You're giving Foden 25 minutes to change the game. You're giving Savio 10 minutes to change the game. It's not enough time. 25 minutes isn't enough time. 10 minutes isn't enough time when you're playing like absolute dross. It's simply not good enough. It's simply not good enough. So that's why it's so frustrating, because that game was so there to be won. If Foden started, if Savio started, I would be so convinced and so happy to say that that we would have won the game, because once again, Foden came on and he looked good and City got better. Savio came on and he looked good and City looked better. If Foden doesn't start the next league game, I don't know what this guy is doing, Guardiola. I don't know what's happening, because everyone can see that Lewis, Gundogan, Kovacic isn't good enough. It's not good enough. Foden had to be in there from the off. If De Bruyne is not available, one of De Bruyne or Foden has to be in the midfield without fail. At least one of them without fail, bar an injury. Like, obviously, you can't do it, they're both injured. So De Bruyne was out for today. That's why I put Foden in the thumbnail, because I was so convinced he'd be starting. I was like, well, obviously he's going to start. Of course he's going to start. That's a thing. So it's really annoying and frustrating. And the main reason why I'm so frustrated is because this game was there to win. Am I watching Chelsea? No, guys, I'm watching... I'm not watching anything. I'm trying to do a post-mortem show. I'm overreacting. How? He's worried about the gap Rodri left. And that's fine, but before Rodri was integrated into the team earlier in the season, he was fine without it. Why now all of a sudden do we have to change? And that's fine if you're worried about it, but you can't sacrifice any midfield attack to do that. If you're worried about the midfield, yeah, that's chill. But you've got to have some sort of attacking prowess in the midfield. And if De Bruyne's not there, then you've got to play Foden. And I've been proven correct, because when Foden came on, what a surprise. Suddenly there is some midfield authority and control and thrust. It's just an objective mistake to not start him today. An objective mistake. It's not a case of, oh, hindsight's 2020. No. If you're worried about Rodri's absence, that's cute and that's fine. You know, precious. But why are we're not a baby team. We are City have quite a lot of good footballers and good attacking footballers. You don't be conservative in your wide players, and you also don't be conservative in your midfield. You are setting us up to fail at that point. You are literally setting us up to fail. You're setting us up to have no actual attack. We produced an XG today throughout 90 minutes of football of less than 1. Less than 1 throughout the whole game. The two players who were most likely to do it, i.e. Foden and Savio, you gave them barely any time. It's just madness. I don't get it. I don't understand it. For example, in respect of, this is an interesting stat. Right, expected assists. We all know what that is, yes? That basically rates the value of a chance that you create. So, Foden was only on the pitch for 25 minutes, right? And he still was able to produce an XA, expected assist of 0.1, which is pretty good for a player who apparently doesn't create anything, even though he created the best chances of the game. Apart from Grealish in the first half, of course. And yet, that's only slightly behind Gundogan, who played 65 minutes. It's only slightly behind Bernardo, who played the full 90. And it's more than Lewis. And it's more than Kovacic. So in the tiny amount of game time he had, he was actually trying to do shit. That's just demonstrative of the fact that we had no creativity in the centre there. This isn't even like high level analysis. You don't even need to understand football on any level to know that if you don't play a midfielder if you play no midfielder who is like synonymous with like creativity and playmaking, you're not going to create and you're not going to play make from the centre anyway. You're totally reliant on the wings then. And it worked in that we got up to 1-0 thanks to a Newcastle error, but we had nothing going on the right. So if we're going to totally secede to the centre, I better expect both wings to be popping off, right? And maybe, if we had Savio and Grealish, maybe I'd be a little bit less concerned. The other thing, my other issue with the substitution, why did Grealish come off? He was our best player. And I really like Doku a lot, but he's had a tricky start to the season. So if it's a choice of keep your best player, if the choice is Doku or Grealish, right? If the choice is Doku or Grealish, and if Grealish is the best player on the pitch, and if Doku's having a shaky start to the year, I'm sorry, you keep Grealish on. Or alternatively, you take off Bernardo and you play Grealish centrally. That works too. That's fine, and that works too. But to take off our best player is mental to me. It is mental. Staggering to me. Absolutely staggering. I don't get it. At least exactly. Because if you are going to do that, fine. I mean, Bernardo looked a lot better when he went to the centre, as we've discussed, but we just had to go for it at that point, and it was so bizarre. It's a pet experiment, but we don't have the luxury to be experimenting and arsing around. Anyone with eyes could have seen that this midfield was never going to work. The experiment was going to fail. The experiment was going to fail from the start. Why not play an actual playmaking creative midfielder who's illustrated last season that they can have a player of the year worthy season from the centre? I think we have someone like that on the bench today. I think we gave them less than 30 minutes away at St James's Park when they were already 1-1. Therefore, the gaps weren't as big. But this is why it's annoying to me, because Rodri has played 60 minutes this season. 60 minutes. This this is not a case of, oh, Rodri's out, look what happens where City are without Rodri. I'm not having that. He's only played 60 minutes all season, half of the game against Brentford and a little bit against Arsenal before he got injured. We played Chelsea at Stamford Bridge in that game and we were the better team, for example. It's not like it just absolutely goes to shit. It's not like we were playing like shit without him. We were playing some really exciting, good football before Rodri even came back into the team. That's why it was so fun and nice to think about the idea of Rodri coming back in and the idea of Foden coming back in. So it's not a Rodri issue. Today is not a Rodri issue, or rather, it shouldn't have been a Rodri issue. The issues today were issues of our own making. We did not have to do this today. We did not have to abandon any form of midfield ambition in addition to wide ambition. It's not good enough. It's not good enough. Kyle Walker, yeah, sure, he made an error for their goal, but we should have scored more than one goal. It's not good enough. It's not good enough. I'm not having it. I'm not having it that it's just, oh, Kyle Walker needs to do better. And sure, he does need to do better. But he's not the main reason why we lost. Lost feels like a loss. He's not the main reason why we didn't win today. The main reason why we didn't win today is because of Pep Guardiola. That's why. Even if Newcastle didn't score that penalty, today's performance wasn't good enough. If anyone thinks that our first half was good enough, you're living in dreamland. We were winning, but it wasn't great football. It wasn't particularly good. It wasn't ambitious. We barely created anything. We were lucky. We were lucky that our centre-back has got a ridiculous right foot shot on him. And we were lucky that Trippier, I think it was, made an error and Grealish was able to get past him. It's not good enough. IDK, if I'm ruining your vibes, then leave, sunshine. I'm not going to lie and be like, oh, yeah, actually, guys, it's really good fun. And let's not panic and let's not be concerned. I'm allowed to be concerned. It's not good enough. It's not good enough. Why isn't Pep starting Stones? Look, if we're doing this situation where a defender's going into midfield like Akanji did today, it probably is the game for someone like Stones. And you probably drop Walker and you play Akanji at right back and you play Stones in the centre. That is probably what you do. That's probably the way to go about it. And that solves a defensive situation, and it's a thing. No, ID, you're not understanding. You're viewing it through the lens of what Palmer is now. And this is the last thing I'm going to say in it, because this is fucking boring. Stop viewing Palmer through the lens of what he is now. Tell me where he's playing last season for City. Because he wouldn't even have played ahead of Alvarez last season. And this isn't the point of what he should have done. He wouldn't have done. Not even Foden played ahead of Alvarez in midfield for the majority of last season. He's not playing ahead of De Bruyne, and he's not playing ahead of Alvarez, and he's not playing ahead of Foden. He's probably not playing ahead of Bernardo either. It's not a case of, oh, we would have cooked for us. He never would have got a chance for us. Please move on. Please move on. And accept that the player Palmer is now would never have been able to be created at City. Please. It's like Lavia. It wouldn't have happened. He never would have got the game time to develop into that player. You can't look at Palmer now through the lens of 2023. It's not a thing. It's just not a thing. You've got to move on. You've got to move on. Tell me who he's starting over. Again. Is it Foden? No. Is it De Bruyne? No. Last season was it Alvarez? No. Is he going to prefer Bernardo to Palmer? No. Sorry, Palmer to yeah, you know what I mean? No. No, he's not. There's at least 4 players there. Please move on, guys. Come on. Oh. You should still mention... IDK, we did. I said Gvardiol was fantastic today. And I said that Grealish was fantastic today. And I said that Akanji was brilliant today. And Foden and Savio were good when they came on. But that's it. That's it. No one else. Palmer's on the Foden. Guys, what are we doing here? Did we watch last season? Are we okay? Did Foden not have a player of the year? Or am I going insane? Did I miss last season? Was it a fever dream where the best player of the best team in the league won that team the league? Did the last season just not happen? I guess it mustn't have done. Crazy, guys. Crazy. News could have benefited from getting some minutes today. Well, Nunes is clearly not a thing, is he? He's clearly not a thing. Pep doesn't consider it. Pep clearly he played against Watford and he criticised his performance. So I doubt that. I doubt that's going to be a thing. That's last season. LB, tell me, mate, how many 490s has Foden played? What is going on? What do you mean that's last season? We're 5 games in. We're 6 games in. What? Where he's played, what? Has he even played 90 minutes in the Premier League this year? So you're really using that as your sample size? What is going on in this chat right now, lads? Some of you guys are insane. I can't tell if you're being serious or trying to wind me up even more. It's working, to be fair. I'm rattled. What's happening? What's going on? People need to move on, please, and not be so reactionary. Christ almighty. It's insane. It is insane. People are accusing me of being reactionary. Madness. Absolutely mad. In a position which wasn't even his either. Crazy. Crazy. Oh, yeah, it's weird, Sebastian, isn't it? It's very weird. Yes, some people in this chat, guys, are fucking mad, you know. Absolutely mad. Yeah, because again, when Foden came on, it was good. That's the thing. Perfect. I hope they're winding me up. I hope they're winding me up, because otherwise it is a lack of critical thinking skills. It is madness. It is madness. Well, Scott, I'm sorry. I can't be cool every single time. I can't be cool every single time because this game's frustrated me. The game has frustrated me because we should have won. Because we should have or rather, we could have put ourselves in a better position to win. And yet. And this is the most angry I've been for a while. Like, this has annoyed me more than getting knocked out to Real Madrid. That didn't even really annoy me because I was quite happy with that performance. I don't think I've been this angry since the Anfield game. Similar situation where, sure, in isolation, points at Anfield, that's quite good, isn't it? But no, it's not good enough because they were without, well, Newcastle Newcastle were without Isak today. And I'll repeat, they've not been playing that well this year. They've not been playing well. They've been open and all over the place. It's crazy. It is madness. And we somehow drop points to them. We allowed ourselves to drop points to them. And it's very frustrating and very annoying. And the most frustrating thing is that the solution is clear. Bernardo Silva as a right winger. That ship has sailed. And that is not a thing. That must never happen again. I'm sorry. It must never happen again. Gundogan. I don't know what's happening with Gundogan. Copium is that he is just rusty. That's the copium. Hopium, whatever you want to call it. But he was a little bit rusty against Brentford. A little bit. And he was very rusty today. There's only so much leeway I can give in respect of that rust factor. I think that Gundogan needs to be played deeper. I don't really know why Gundogan's being played as our 10. It should be, if we're trying to replace Rodri's impact, Gundo must be deeper. That is what needs to happen. None of this 10 stuff. I don't want Gundogan to be our most advanced player. Sorry, I don't want Gundogan to be our most advanced midfielder, sorry. That is a waste to me when there's other options on the pitch. The passing was poor. I'm amazed that he's got 91% pass accuracy. That staggers me. It must have just been in those key moments he got them wrong. Those 2 passes must have been the 2 passes that he tried to play into Haaland when he really should have done better, but it wasn't a thing. Because that 91%, that seems very high. But there must have been high-profile incorrect passes, as I say. Wasn't offering a goal threat, etc., etc. Being overly positive. Wait, what, Andre? Hello? I'm realistic about City. What are we talking about here? Playing a rusty Gundo as a 10 while leaving Foden on the bench is pure Pep overthinking. Yeah, it's crazy. Should be Bernardo, Kova, Foden, midfielder, De Bruyne rotating in whenever he's healthy, says Kelkster. Play 3 30-plus-year-olds in midfield, and it showed. Do you think Pep would have allowed Yamal to play back-to-back matches? If yes, how come he didn't give Palmer a chance? As I say, guys, move on from the Palmer situation. I've said everything that needs to be said on it. If you still don't understand it, I don't know what to... I can't help you anymore. I'll be so real. Pep hates simplicity. It's almost like Pep knows what works in the past but refuses to use it because it's already been played. It was like, again, like last season. We were struggling, and then Bernardo moved to the centre, and we played a lot better. How is that still being an error that is made? How is that still an error that is being made? These problems are clear. Okay, and here's the copium, guys. Here is the copium. This is a lesson, but sad. This didn't. I kept saying this all of last season, and it didn't happen. Pep never really learned his lesson. But hey, we won the title, so maybe I don't have a place to talk. I still think that we're very fortunate there, but it's a thing. I'll just ignore them, Jack. Yeah, it's just getting boring. Again, this is the copium point. Let us hope that this failed experiment, emphasis on failed experiment, is a massive lesson to Pep. He must never, ever, 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 ever play that combination of midfielders and that combination of wide players ever again. That has to be the takeaway from a Guardiola perspective. It has to be a takeaway. If that isn't the takeaway, then I'm actually lost. And I actually don't know. All I can... Because maybe he's just saying it because it's the post-match interview and he doesn't want to throw his players under a bus. But he said that Kovacic played really well. He said Bernardo played really well. And that concerns me. Because they clearly didn't. They clearly didn't, man. So let's hope that that's just a mask, a facade, a show. And there actually has been a learning curve there. Someone asked what I would have done in terms of today's team. Now, I probably wouldn't have even started Walker. If you are going to start Walker, fine. That's fine. You don't play Lewis then. I don't want Lewis at left back. And in a game like this, where we've talked about the physicality issue in our midfield, Lewis shouldn't be out and out midfield either. I don't think that Walker and Lewis should be sharing the same pitch. So one of them, one or the other. That's fine. So I would have dropped Gundogan deeper. I would have started Foden, obviously, and I would have started Savio on the right because he's clearly he's not one of our right wingers. He's not our best. He's the right winger right now. He's the right winger. He must be starting. Otherwise, especially in tricky games, by the way, this is the thing. This isn't, Ipswich at home. This is Newcastle away. And yes, they've had issues, but they're still a good team. And they can still cause you threats in behind, on the counter. So Savio must start. He must in these games. And again, Foden instead of, whoever you want to be instead of Lewis, instead of Kovacic, whoever. Drop Gundogan back, play Foden slightly advanced. And people can say, oh, but what about, we're going to be weak in terms of rest defense. Did you guys see that today? Did these people see that today? We weren't particularly solid in respect of rest defense today. And that was without Foden on the pitch. So I'm not having it that, introduce Foden and suddenly there's midfield defensive woes. We've been crap this season from a midfield solidity perspective. When was the last time we kept a clean sheet in the league? Have we kept one all season? With the first Chelsea? Have we kept a clean sheet against anyone else in the league? I feel like we haven't. Let me know if we have, but I feel like we haven't. So, you get me. Why is the guy not giving Newcastle credit? I said earlier, Bossman, that a draw is probably a fair result. This is a City show. If you want to go watch a Newcastle show, I'd recommend go watching a Newcastle channel. Newcastle were fine, but a draw... I said earlier, I don't think Newcastle were particularly good. we just shot ourselves in the foot. That's the main issue. You know, it's in shambles when defenders are creating more than our midfield. Yeah. 3 clean sheets in the last 16 games played. Yeah, madness. Madder. The last clean sheet was against Chelsea in the league. Yeah, craziness. Yeah, 3 clean sheets in 16 games. And once again, people saying, oh, but Foden in the midfield causes weaknesses. What do you call that then today? Without him in the midfield, what do we call that? I'm not having it. I'm not having it. There is no justification in... There's no justification in starting that midfield, as we've outlined many, many times. It's very annoying and very frustrating. Gundogan and Kovacic are both too old and slow. Where is the physicality? If you're going down... And this midfield had no physicality, so if you're going to go down that route, you might as well play Foden in there, and then you've actually got a little bit of midfield nous and thrust centrally. Otherwise, what is the point? What is the point of the midfield existing? It might as well not exist. That's the most frustrating thing. Haaland gets 0 service in that respect, and he just becomes a passenger in a way. He just becomes a passenger, and Haaland's hold-up play wasn't particularly good today. He did do one good moment against Dan Burn, to be fair, when he held him off, threw him to the ground. But apart from that, his hold-up play wasn't great. But he also wasn't really being fed. He wasn't being fed. Rice and Gundo midfields. Yeah, Rico, Gundo, Kova. And Pep obviously knew about the physicality issues. So that's clearly bollocks about Pep doesn't play Foden in the midfield as much, or hasn't done it yet, or whatever, because he's worried about the physicality situation. That's clearly not a thing, is it? Gossip is Foden's issues off the pitch. Yeah, but that's gossip, though. Until I know something, I can't comment on hypotheticals. I can only comment on what I can see. You get me? City are a minnow basher. Imagine losing the title to a minnow basher. That's crazy. Bernardo in the middle instead of Rico and Savio wide would have been better. DJ, 100%. 100%. Get Bernardo out of the wide areas. Get him if you're going to play him centrally. Play Savio, who's actually a right winger nowadays. And if you're going to play Bernardo, alongside Gundogan, then get rid of Kova. Or if you're playing Bernardo alongside Kova, then drop Gundo and get Foden in there. It's a straightforward fix. And as someone said earlier in the chat, at least the problems are easily solved. At least they are easily solved. Will they be solved? The problems last season were easily solved. And we didn't solve them until the last 10 games of the season or something. So there was a long way. There was a long way. Christian, go watch all of last season, mate. Go watch all of last season. Because Foden was doing that for fun. Foden, on his own, created over 3 goals for Haaland. 3 expected assists. That's not 3 good passes. That's an accumulation. That's a lot of chances. That's also a lot from one player to one other player. That's a lot. We're not buying into this weird, false, fake idea that Foden can't create or isn't a playmaker, because he just is. I have eyes, and I watched last season. I've also watched the seasons before that as well, by the way. If it was up to you, would you have started Bernardo this game? Probably not. Probably not. I'd have my favorite team actually has De Bruyne isn't as well, to be fair. So maybe it's a little bit tricky. But definitely, obviously, as long as you got Savio and Foden in the team, I don't really care. I would start Grealish and I would start Haaland, obviously. I wouldn't start both Lewis and Walker. I think that's insane. And I wouldn't have started Lewis and Gundo and Kova. I think that's crazy. We've already played at the bridge. He's not less of a playmaker than Gundo. That's not true. Not in 2024. KDB, bringing up KDB is ridiculous because literally everyone is an inferior playmaker to KDB. In 2024, Foden's a better playmaker. So that's not correct. Palmer's better. Yeah, last season just didn't happen then, fairs. Should City sign Pedri, Musiala, or Wirtz? Musiala's my favourite of those 3. So I go for that IMO. Yeah, apparently, there was a mental comment. I don't know who it was, but someone said a mental comment. Yeah, but that was last season. Huh? You okay? Kanji losing midfield is peak. I can't lie, says SDL. Grealish left 8 inverted, Foden 10, De Bruyne right 8. What do you think? So your front, so you have, I'm assuming you're having Savio though as well. Inverted. So you're having Gvardiol as like a left winger. I don't know, I need to see it on paper. How are you? I'm not doing well, to be honest. I'm annoyed. I'm very annoyed. Newcastle United vs City 1-1 draw for Newcastle. My man of the match is Gordon. I think my man of the match was Grealish. Not in September 2024, Zachariah. Not in September of 2024. No. Gundogan's not a lone playmaker. He needs to play alongside another playmaker to take some burden off his shoulder. Yeah. We all, again, I'll repeat, we all knew that a midfield of, in fact, let's add it all up, shall we? 0.11. So, what is that? So cumulatively, that midfield 3 produced an expected assists total of 0.25. And Kovacic played the full 90, and Lewis played 80 minutes, and Gundogan played more than 2/3 of the game. In 25 minutes, Foden nearly got half of that on his own, with no time at all. And with still a waste of time at right wing in terms of having Bernardo out at right wing. Not him as a player, but him as a right winger. It's crazy. Madness, guys. It's madness. Imagine Ferguson scores to Arsenal back in 1999 for 40 million. That's what... Right, no. No, it's not. No, it's not at all. Scholes was already a world-class player in 1999. What is that comparison? Guys, do better, please. Grealish should be played in midfield. He controls the game far too well to be stuck on the left. But if he's playing how he has done today, to be fair, IDK, it's a thing. Stones in a double pivot. This is my preferred team. It assumes De Bruyne is fit, of course. But I would have Gvardiol, obviously Ederson, Gvardiol, Diaz, Akanji. That's my back 3, okay? This is for like the majority of games. Ahead of them, Stones goes into the Stones role, alongside Gundogan. You've got the deep plying work of Gundogan in respect to the first phase. You've got the press resistance as well. You've got the physicality of John Stones, who's also press resistant. You've got the metronomic quality of Gundogan. That as a rest defense structure is good. That's a 3-2 base. That is solid, man. You don't need Rodri to have a solid 3-2 base or a 2-3 base or a 3-1 base, whatever. We can make something here. Ahead of that, you have Foden and De Bruyne. Yes, guys, they can both play midfield and play midfield brilliantly well together. And then the front 3. You have Grealish, you have Haaland, you have Savio. That is a boss team. You can just have that team, and if De Bruyne is injured, swap him out for Bernardo if you insist. It's not ideal, but if he's injured, go for it. Or push Gundogan further forward alongside Foden and play Kovacic alongside Stones. And that's your pivot. That's the thing. There's so many easy formations that could have been done. Ain't no one wanted this. You know that meme? Ain't no one want to see this. That's what today was. Very, 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 very frustrating. But he did last season now, being the last 8 games, and that's how he won the league. So he will, and he did, and he should, and he must. If he doesn't, we will not win the league, and I'll go on record saying that right now, guys. We only won the league last season because he did play them together. That's the only reason why we won the league in the last 8 games. We were our best... Sorry, was it 10 games? I think it was the last 10 games. Go watch my title tactics video if you haven't already done so, guys, where I outline where was the title won and lost. And it was ultimately won from a City perspective when Pep consistently played Foden and De Bruyne in the midfield. So if he doesn't do that, I mean, first of all, he has done it, so that'd be weird if he opted to not do it. But secondly, if he doesn't do it, then massive questions need to be asked as to why you're not doing it. Because it just works. It just works. Clearly. There is no downside to that. It just works. Oh. Yeah, indeed, IDK. I've already read that out of Deary. I feel like we'll see John Stones in DM in one of the next games. Let's see how the experiment goes. I don't think so, The Citizen. Everyone was predicting that something bad could have happened to Rodri, and now we're here. But it's an issue which could have been circumvented. Walker Saudis calling. Oh. It's so funny because there was zero consideration or prep for the scenario that we turned over the ball today. And lots of our players made weird passes and weird decisions. Even Edison today, his passing was off. I don't know what was happening there, but his passing was off. And we did, and that's what we touched on earlier. There was no control. I'm sure you will, Colton Connor. I'm sure you will, mate. Yeah. We don't need Mahrez, guys. KDB Foden with Kovacic would not work with Rodri. It can only work. No, that's not true. That's just not true. I've just outlined there. Have Gundogan and Stones as your base behind Foden and De Bruyne. Rest defense. That's got everything, that midfield. It's obviously not going to be as good as Rodri, but it's got the metronomic qualities with Gundogan. It's got long shot in respect of De Bruyne and Foden. It's got small space work in respect of Foden and Stones and Gundogan. It's got long space work in respect of De Bruyne and also Foden. Massive underrated part of his game. It's got creativity in playmaking. It's got physicality in respect of transitions with John Stones. And Foden, by the way. Massive underrated part of his game is his pressing. That box four is really nice. It's a really nice box four. That could definitely happen. Easy peasy. Easy mode. That could happen. Walker is the... Can you imagine that? Walker in the 6. I can't even, man. Guys, there's over 300 people watching, and yet we've not even got to 200 likes. Come on, lads. There's a terrible start to the day. At least make me happy, and let's get to 200 likes. Come on now. There's a long way to go, but if everyone here likes it, then we'll get there really quickly. So come on. Pay your rent. Click the like button. It is free. Think we need an extra midfielder? If so, what type in Jan? The player that I want, if we do sign someone, is who we would have signed in the summer of 2025 in any event. So just bring it forward by a few months. Expected big performance from Bernardo after his outburst in the media, but oh well. In fairness, he was doomed to fail. He's not a right winger. I definitely overrate the best player in the league last year. 100%. 100%, yeah. With you there. Remember what happened when Gundogan played for Rodri in the Champions League final? Well, the issue... I wouldn't have an issue if, again, there is a world where Gundogan can just do it all on his own, as he did in 2019, but it's now 2024. He's not quite got the legs anymore. It's a solid midfield, absolute DJ, but we should be doing better. Yeah, make me happy, guys. Might as well play Haaland in TM. You'd be a good physical bully, to be fair. I'm not riding him, but he was the best player in the league last year. That's all I'm saying. I'll be there for that. What's your solution for City to start winning again? Why can't we trust Pep? If you can answer this, you'll get my like. I've outlined how we need to start winning. We need to have some creativity in the centre. We need to have a right winger at right wing. We need to stop insisting on playing a central player out at right wing. We need to actually make a decision here. If we are forfeiting midfield creativity, then at least we have to have it out wide. We don't have to forfeit it, but that is the situation. What we need to be having is creativity out wide and centrally. Do not play both Walker and Lewis in the same team ever again. Play Lewis at right back and invert him into midfield. Or don't play him at all in a game like this. Yeah, in a game like this. If it's an easier team, I don't mind him starting out and out midfield. Today is not the day to be playing around with that. It's just not. Because he's not going to provide any creativity on his own. He's going to be a nice little link-up player and a nice little pocket player. But that's probably all it's going to be. He hasn't yet developed to the final third element to his game. And why should he? He's a child. I don't expect Rico Lewis to be that guy yet. But you're setting him up for failure by partnering him with Kovacic and Gundogan. And there's no Foden on the pitch. And there's no Kevin De Bruyne on the pitch. So Haaland is a thirsty lad. It's terrible. Like the video for that shit. Oh. No expect Kova to be like for like. And again, there is no like for like, but we can balance it out. He got a bit lost today. Yeah, it's a shame. Because, again, I love Rico Lewis. He is a great player. He is a great player. But if a player plays poorly or struggles, then you'll say it. Like, I love Foden, but if he struggles, then I'll say it. But today he played well when he came on. Money from Alvarez should get us a DM. It's not about money. We can sign him. I'm still trying to figure out why Pep would play Bernardo on the wing on this game. The only explanation is he wants control everywhere. That's the only explanation. Everywhere, everywhere, everywhere. But it's so passive and negative and conservative to do that. Conservative winger on the left has actually not been playing that conservative, to be fair, but generally, conservative winger on the left, conservative winger on the right, conservative 10, conservative pivot. I could make an argument that our most progressive player was Gvardiol today. And again, lads, he's a defender. It's not good enough. The system's now the defensive solid nor creative. That's what I mean. If you're going to sacrifice creativity, not fine, but fine. But you better be solid. As it's today, this is what we was talking about earlier. We traded everything for nothing. And that's stupid. And that's just stupid. It's mad. Well, as a false nine, I thought he was absolutely fine. But again, he's not even being played in his position. Hopefully, Pep's realised the error of his ways. It's ironic that control in the middle of support. That's what I mean, Sebastian. That's what I mean. We barely had it. No, yeah, we just didn't have it. So the whole point was... Yeah, exactly. Funny thing is we didn't have it. We sacrificed all of it, and we didn't even get anything out of it. That's by keeping the ball, which we didn't even do that well today. Like, what was our possession? I feel like it wasn't that high. Maybe it's been like 62%. For that midfield, I expected to be more like 70s or something with that amount of control. It's just ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. We had one big chance, which we scored. Nothing created. Absolutely nothing. 0.85 from open play. Maybe next time, give our more creative players more than 10 minutes, more than 25 minutes. Then maybe they'll be able to do something. What does anyone think Savio is going to be able to do in that time? Realistically. Yeah, I agree. If you're going to play him in the middle. That needs to be lesson learnt now. Why don't Pep start Stones and push Akanji right back? I agree, Bendiv. Akanji, again, but Akanji, really good today. Really happy with how he's playing. He's so good. Let Liverpool or Arsenal win the league for one season. I'll tell you what, maybe that's what this formation was. Because he set us up to fail today. I'm sorry, he did. He did. And I'm not sorry, he just did. It's wrong. Adiri, I've read that comment out. Please stop spamming the same one. This is my same feeling for like the Chelsea game. That was the first ever post-mortem. Do you guys remember that? The Chelsea game at the Etihad, the 1-1. He set us up to fail in that game as well, playing Alvarez in the middle. Insanity. Insanity and insane. Yeah, to be fair, that a lot of that will be inflated by the penalty kick, to be fair, Iptris, but yeah, I'm sure they weren't that far off from open play. I'm pretty sure he recognised his mistake. Why didn't he react with the change? Yeah, he reacted too late. The mistake should have been made before you even put the team out. But as it was, surely he recognised the mistake at half-time. No, I'm going to wait until they've scored and got back in the game. That makes sense, guys. That makes sense. Oh, it's so annoying. Guys, it's frustrating. It's a frustrating time. And I think I've said all I wanted to say. We've been here for over an hour. I've been ranting, been raving. I'm annoyed, to be honest. No, Sagat. I'm annoyed. Thoughts on the Grealish elbows? Nothing in it, mate. Tonali went down. It was pretty embarrassing, to be honest. Pep accountability? Yeah. And it's really frustrating when you talk about a game and people go, you don't know more than Pep. Obviously I don't. Obviously I don't. But that's not the same as saying, well, therefore he can never be wrong. Like, of course he can be wrong, and of course he can make mistakes. Like, he's a human being, and we all are. It's not a case of, oh, he's always right 100% of the time. That's called an appeal to authority fallacy, yeah? When your only argument is, well, he's the authority on the situation, therefore he knows more than you, therefore he's better, therefore he's always right and you're wrong. It's like, no, it's not a thing. Pep made a mistake, they shouldn't happen again, indeed. Pep would go bonkers if he wins without control. His buying team is an example. I think we're going to get done at more corners the way we are setting up. Yeah, and you're right. Like, even that, it's like, I don't know what's going on. Why are we so bad at set pieces all of a sudden? Oh, maybe it's because fucking we set ourselves up to fail. Leicester have equalised. Arsenal are going to win, guys. Don't worry about that. Arsenal will win. It's fine. Don't worry about that. It's fucking Leicester. They'll win. Well done, Leicester, for getting 2 goals, I guess, but they will win the game, sadly. They'll do what we couldn't today. They will do what we couldn't. Gorgeous goal. Big up the Leicester. Just make sure you guys aren't trolling me, and they have actually scored. Okay, they have actually scored. Fair play. Fair play. Well done, Leicester. They'll still get the win. Still relatively early on in that game. Still like 25 minutes or something. Arsenal will do it, I'm sure. Okay, yeah. Get your final questions in, guys. Or shall we stay live until the end of the Arsenal game? Maybe I've shat myself too early, and maybe if Arsenal drop points, maybe it's not the end of the world. I don't know. Yeah, let's talk about Doku. He was bad when he came on, guys, and I really like Doku a lot, and I defend him a lot. But he came on today with 10 minutes to go, and it wasn't helped because he came on for Grealish, who, as we've discussed, Spartacus, as we've discussed, was our best player at the time. So that was always that. I was like, right, okay, Doku coming on, nice. We did play FM on Twitch, Killian. So, Twitch. Liverpool win, says Zachariah. Probably, but I personally see Liverpool as finishing in a solid third. I still think it's going to be mainly City and Arsenal this season. I've not got it on. You guys can tell me if anything does happen. What was I saying there? Yeah, so I wasn't against the idea of Doku coming on because I was like, okay, fine, you know. But to take off Grealish was odd. And I don't really know what's going on with Doku. I thought he played okay against Watford. Got the goal, of course. But he hasn't quite leveled up from last season. Shadow, thank you so much for following the Twitch. It's just LNobbins on Twitch, guys. Make sure to go follow. We do even more Nobbins content over there. So if you like me, if you don't like me, don't go follow. If you do like me, do go follow. He came on, and it was very lackluster, wasn't it? He just couldn't... Was it Livramento he was up against? Just couldn't beat his man. It was very upsetting and very frustrating. And that's the performance of Doku. It was frustrating. And I'm a big Doku. I'm a big believer in Doku and a big defender of him. So I need people to understand that I don't blindly back players. If they play well and I think there's something about them, then I'll be really happy about them and I'll defend them. Likewise, if a player does badly. This is why it really pisses me off when people go, "Oh, you only like Grealish because of English bias." It's like, no. Who was the player who I gave the most criticism to? And no, it wasn't Julian Alvarez. It was Kyle Walker. What's his nationality? Oh, yeah, English. It's nothing to do with the nationality of the player. I don't care about English bias. I care about the player being good for City. So I need everyone to know that I don't have like a Doku agenda. Again, I'm big defender of Doku. I did a whole video about how he was really good against Chelsea despite people having a go at him. I thought he was really good. He just needs... What does Doku need? Doku needs some time out of the team, I think. I don't know who we play. It's Fulham, isn't it, we play next? I think that Doku should... And by time out of the team, specifically, I mean... time out in what's the term? Time out of the team when the game state matters. So, for example, if we're playing Fulham, I don't want him to start. Grealish should start. Bratislava, maybe. I'm talking about a more high-profile game, in like the Premier League. But yeah, Bratislava, sure, he can start that one. I only really want him I only want him to come on in the next Premier League game if the game's won, basically. So we're 2-0 up, it's the 70th minute, bring him on. Give him some minutes, give him some confidence where the game state doesn't matter. And then when he's back up to speed, as he was, more towards like the back end of last season, let's say, then you can introduce him into some harder game states where, where he's starting or where he's coming on, I'm a 1-0 down, or it's 1-1, or we're drawing. That's probably what I would like to see with Doku. He strikes me as a confidence player, and there's no way that, coming onto a game like this where we need a difference maker to happen and it doesn't happen, that's a thing. There was something, I know guys, it's too old to ask. Don't worry guys, Arsenal will still win. Never get your hopes up, lads. Never get your hopes up. There was something that really frustrated me with Doku today, though, because I can deal with, a player having an off day, that sort of thing. But what I can't deal with is when a player is just not switched on defensively. And there was a moment where Doku just didn't read the play defensively, and he didn't track back properly. And it was Savio who had to track back all the way from right wing. And that is a problem that Savio doesn't have. From minute one, Savio has been fantastic and superb defensively in respect to tracking back and just the pressing in general. I'm not saying that Doku's a lazy winger, because he isn't. I just don't know if he's switched on to that yet. And it's really, really annoying, to be honest. It's really, really frustrating and really, really annoying. Mr. Booker says Doku's limited potential. Now, personally, I'm a big believer in Doku. I think he can make it. But I need to see it this season, I think. I know he's still a young player, but he does, and Majid says he does need to be more efficient. And he needs to be more switched on. He needs to get used to his teammates a little bit more. If it's a draw, Randall, don't get greedy. Savio is wonderful, and I love Savio. And once again, he surprised me at how good he is. Wonderful. I'm in love with this guy. He's already become... What's your top 5 favourite City players, guys? I think my favourite is probably Grealish. Followed... Not who you think are the best, who you favourite, but just personal favourites. Because my favourite is Grealish. My second favourite's Kevin. Third favourite's Haaland. Okay, Savio doesn't quite make the top 5, because I think Gvardiol and Foden, I'd probably go Foden and then Gvardiol. And then probably Savio 6, maybe. Although I love Akanji and Diaz. Oh, it's hard. That's a really hard question. But Savio is I'm already entertaining the idea that Savio is getting into my top 5 favourites. No, just generally, Sebastian. Just generally. So, definitely my top 3 is Grealish, Kevin, Haaland. Those are my 3 favourites. Definitely. I love Grealish. Foden's for now, so in the team right now. I think Foden is probably in the top 5. But that's the thing as well. This is why it annoys when people go, oh, stop glazing Foden. Foden's not even my 3rd favourite City player, lads. He's not even my favourite English City player right now. Grealish is my boy. Grealish is my boo. My pookie, as they say. And even then, I'll be harsh on him if he plays like shit. But I would defend him if he plays well. Yeah, what are your guys' top 5s then? I think that Doku can become one of the best wingers in the world. Emphasis on can. A lot of work needs to be done, but it can happen. I think his ceiling is really high. It's only a prediction, of course, but the Muffin says KDB, Holland, Grealish, Savio, Bernardo. So Savio already getting in there. Grealish, Foden, Bob. Oh, Bob. Lewis. There's so many likable players, man. Bob, Foden, Holland, Rico, Akanji. KDB, Holland, Foden, Rodri, Akanji. Oh, yeah, maybe Rodri's in there as well. Gvardiol, Akanji, Savio, Kev, and Haaland. KDB, Haaland, Foden, Jack, Bernardo. Yeah, current. Rodri, Foden, Kevin, Haaland, Gvardiol. That's a great top 5, Mrs. Bucket. To be fair, that's a great top 5. Rico's up there. Foden for Schoff. Kev, Foden, Rodri, Erling. Maybe Yoshko. Yeah, Yoshko he's winning my heart. He's already won it. He's already won my heart. Foden, Cavallo, Rodri, Holland, Oscar, Bob, Foden. Cavardio, Grealish, KDB, Holland, Foden, Holland, De Bruyne, Rodri, Diaz. Not in order. Fair enough, Phantom. Photon, sorry. There's some good lists there. Some very good lists there. Yeah, Grealish is so useless. He definitely didn't do anything today. I totally agree. Doku's feet's rare. Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah. Don't you think Cavallo should be given more freedom to play a more attacking role? Well, he is a defender at the end of the day, so I don't want to go too gung-ho there. Yeah, Yoshko is up there, big up. Of course, respect to KB. He's my second favourite City player right now. I just love Jack. Cavallo has a firm grip, yeah, Fez. Akanji is massively underrated. And lots of players are missing out here. You know, like Ruben Diaz, wonderful. Akanji, Ake, Edison, Rodri. Didn't even talk about him. Tech enthusiast, that's been the entirety of this stream, mate. The answer is, I don't know, and it was stupid not to. To be honest with you, it was stupid not to. Big up to you, Shay. How you doing, mate? How you doing, you cheeky little sausage? Yeah, big up. Jane question, how is fucking Leicester defend better? Defend Arsenal corners better than us? Good question, I don't know. Gravard's already playing an 8 with the ball. Yeah, he's doing a Lewis on that left side, isn't he? Diaz has been good. He annoyed me in that second half, but yeah, he has been good. I agree. I love Ake, underrated, and he seems to be perfectly cool with it. Yeah, exactly. Ruben should be... Kyle Walker again has been made captain. It would have probably... Just from a political perspective, it would have been very weird for the players to, like, strip him of the captaincy. Considering he was obviously the captain last year. So I understand why he is the captain, but he obviously is offering leadership, otherwise they wouldn't have voted for him. I think it's a mistake. Ruben Diaz, Rodri, Kevin De Bruyne, those are the captains. Those are the actual captains. Even Gundogan, those are the actual captains for me. It's craziness. Sean's Foden, De Bruyne, Diaz, Gavardio, Savio, great list, Sean. I feel like if we had an aggregate top 5 here, Foden's definitely in there for you guys. De Bruyne's definitely in there. I think Gavardio's definitely in there as well. Probably Haaland as well, if we did like an aggregate. You are Croatian, so Gavardio, great shout. Diaz shake today, but this season he's been back to his best. I agree. If we're asked to be crying about the pen for weeks. And this is why, you know, when I go on shows next week, and, you know, fucking... There will be a lot of them. Monday is a very busy day, lads, for me. I'm on about 4 shows. And Sam asked if I could go into A-listers and become the city rep on A-listers. I don't know if I can physically do the time commitment. It's 8 till 10. I'm already doing top 6 and probably Albins and Mo's channel and all my other stuff on Mondays. But there's lots to discuss. Maybe I will go on it. Maybe I will take him up on his offer. Who knows? Bob is up there, says IDK, yes. KDB isn't too beta. Hello? You okay? I haven't heard the word beta as an insult since about 2019. That's a crazy old school insult. KB doesn't want to be captain. Fairs. Maybe it's just like one of those who's captain by example, that sort of thing. That means ISK winning 4 in a row and we only spent 25 million. 5 least favorite City player. I don't want to be like, I think that's harsh. I don't dislike any City player. I don't dislike any City player. Our worst starter is obviously Kyle Walker, clearly, but I don't dislike Walker. He can still offer something in some games, but next summer he probably should go. Yeah, De Bruyne is definitely in the leadership team. That is it. That's it for sure. Bob looks good. I think he looks more than good, to be honest. Yeah, KDB isn't beta. He's a winner. KDB is a winner. What kind of midfielder do we need? Guys, as before, what we need, guys, is a long-term partner for Rodri who covers Rodri's weaknesses and can fill in for him when Rodri isn't available and can do it to that standard. The player is Bruno Guimaraes. That is the guy. So him, or a player like him, is the sort of player that we need. He covers Rodri's weaknesses brilliantly well. He can cover for Rodri when he's not available. He can play alongside instead of and ahead of Rodri. He can play like 3 different positions there. That is the sort of lad that we need. Is that all right, Ryan? Is that all right? I wouldn't be too happy if we signed him, but he's all right. All right. Sigma grind set. What on earth does that mean? KDB is on that Sigma grind set. You might as well be speaking Japanese. I have no idea what that means. All-time favourite City players, Nobbins, yeah, big up. Also, mine, him or Kolarov. I do love Stones as well, to be fair. What would your optimal transfer window be for January? That player I've just described there. Get me that player and we win the league. I'm very comfortable in saying that. Guys, I don't know. I'm not hip. God, hip. Isn't that like a really archaic word though? So I'm not with it. I'm not hip. That's like a word from like the 70s, I feel like. Good Lord. No, I'm not Gen Z. No. Could you guys tell that I'm slightly older? They won't though, Alan. Don't you worry about it. But obviously, we would like them to drop points because it means that today is actually, we can look at it and go, actually, it's not a terrible thing. Then we can maybe have the copium of, well, it was St. James's Park. It was away. It was the first game without Rodri. It was, midfield experimenting. We move with the times. And I'd take, well, not take it, obviously, but I'd be relatively happy with it. I still don't think it's going to happen. This is a really interesting shout. Now, I don't watch Inter consistently. So, can Barella play out-and-out 6? Is that a thing? I know he's like an 8, but can he do that? Anyone who watches Inter or watches Barella or knows more about him, can he do that? Could he fill in for Rodri? Absolutely. Because I didn't think he could. If he can, I'm all over that shit. But I didn't think he could. As I say, I thought he was a more advanced player. Gvardiola's bussing. Germany, yeah, no chance, no shot. Oh, there you go, Sebastian. It's all coming out now. I again, respectfully, why did we spend only 25 million this summer? I don't know. The copium is hitting right now. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. I've calmed down now. I'm chill. More of a double guy. So let's say that Barella is in the squad right now. What are his best attributes? Who is he partnered with? Does he get partnered with Kovacic? Does he get partnered with Nunes? Gundogan? Who's he get partnered with? If we're doing like a double pivot situation, or would it work where it's Stones and Barella? Would that work? This is what we said earlier, Darth. In isolation, it's not bad, but we won last year. We won there last year. And it's a game we should have won. That's why it's so annoying. It's 2 points dropped today, absolutely. I don't think so, though, Zakaria, because we bought Gvardiol, and we bought Savio, and we bought Doku and Nunes. We spent a lot of money last summer. So I don't know if that's... I don't agree with that. I don't know what the correlation would be. We've also done loads of development to the stadium, which it's looking sick, by the way. It's going to be really nice when it's all sorted. We're also giving contract extensions out. No. Yaya Nunes. Oh, dear. We want Stamford Bridge versus a draw last season, so it balances out. True, Bengal. I guess that's true. I suppose you're right. I suppose, Bengal. Barella does not work, but Kalinoglu would. It does feel like a loss, yeah. It's mad. I described it as a loss earlier. I agree, yeah, we should have won today. Barella can pair with Stones or Akanji. He'll absolutely destroy teams as he's the best deep line playmaker in the world. So how would that work off ball, me awesome? So would that work in a 4-4-2? Or would it have to be a 4-1-4-1? Why is Jack DMing me? What is this? So he gets a lot of touches. He creates a lot of chances. He's 7% for defensive actions. Again, I don't know what defensive actions means, but he doesn't look to be much of a defender, guys. A defensive midfielder, lads. Love from Vietnam. Don't know why YouTube recommends your channel. Because I'm a great content creator, Phil. That's bloody why. You share the name of a footballer who should have bloody started today. So big up to you. We can't beat big teams, same crap as last season. I'm fed up. We beat Alpha. Shall I tell you how we beat? So we won. Oh, bastard. I had this stat. We didn't beat Chelsea last year in the league. We didn't beat Chelsea. We didn't beat Arsenal. And we didn't beat Liverpool. So did we win one game against the Big Six? No. We beat United, didn't we? We beat United twice. So we beat United twice, and we beat Spurs once. That's correct, isn't it? Right? So, and United, so it's whatever. So, and it was Spurs away. So the one really tricky game where we won it, yeah? Against the top four, whatever you want to call it. Guys, who's playing in the midfield that day? Who created both goals that day? From the midfield? From long passing? Who was it? Guys, tell me before I go insane. At Spurs, away, in the title run-in, when it mattered most, when we had to win, which of our midfielders was the reason why we actually won that bloody game in one of our only victories against other members of the top four, big four, whatever you want to bloody call it. Who created both bloody goals? It was bloody Phil Foden. Well done, Sebastian. It was Phil bloody Foden. That's who it was. In case you couldn't tell, guys, I'm overtired and upset. It was Foden. It was Foden who fucking switched it from one side to the other. And it was Foden who played the ball for Doku, who then won the penalty. From midfield, I might add. Blue moon, you saw me standing alone. Oh, Lionel Foden, exactly. It's almost as if we need him in the team to play at our best. Crazy. Craziness. What else has who done, Del Boy? Every other game, he didn't play in midfield. Crazy. It was all we had to do is play him in midfield, and we get the wins. Madness. Who would have thunk it? Who would have thunk it? Against Liverpool, we shunted him out wide. Against Arsenal, we shunted him out wide. Against Chelsea, we shunted him out wide. Weird. The one game where he played in midfield. Fucking weird, isn't it? Weird, isn't it? I mean, Foden literally equaled the record for goals from a midfielder last season. I will say that much. He also created a hell of a lot of goals. Haaland's bad finishing robbed Foden of about 5 assists last year. Madness. I'm concerned about the lack of passes in midfield as well, Iptrus. Unless Foden's on the pitch, then I'm slightly less concerned. Pissing me off. Pissing me off. Pissing me off. I shouldn't have to campaign, though. I'm just saying it how it is. I shouldn't have to campaign for the best player in the league to be starting. Funnily enough. Why is this trouble with the simple things? I don't know. I just don't know. We will be there for Man City karaoke. We'll stay live until Arsenal score or the game ends, lads. And maybe we'll like briefly touch on like what the league table looks like as well. What do you think of Benassa as a Rodri stand-in? I don't think so, IDK. One season out of how many? No, but you're acting like Foden was bad all the previous seasons, Del Boy. Sorry, is it not good enough that he's literally was player of the year? And he's also had very, very, very good seasons before then. Is that not good enough? Apparently not. Crazy. Crazy. Imagine being the best player for the best team in the hardest league in the world and being the reason why your team won the title, and that's apparently still not good enough. These are the levels that we are operating in. Yeah, I've heard a lot of good things about Palacios from Leverkusen. Shout out Near Post on Twitter. But I don't watch Leverkusen. So get me. Arsenal are facing the dark arts. Arsenal are about to score. They will score, guys. Don't you worry. They will score. It's all good. Don't worry about it. Good for you, Del Boy. But in the one season where they've both played a full year, Foden was better. That is your evidence. Palmer's had one proper season, and it was last year. So maybe let's reel it in. Maybe let's try to use some logic here. Let's try to use some logic here, guys. I know some people do struggle with that. In fact, a lot of people struggle with that on Twitter, in fairness. Or X. Does anyone here actually call it X? I don't think I've ever heard anyone say, "Oh yeah, I've just done a post on X." Ugh, I'll be sick. Thoughts on Echeverry? Never watched him, to be honest, mate. Excited at the prospect of him, but never seen him play. They will indeed, General Stones. They will do what we failed to do, because they probably set up quite well. City still haven't lost. Looking on the bright side with a spoon. Technically, no, literally, you are correct. I suppose it is Twitter, isn't it? It is. I did use my eyes. So did all the players last year. So did all the fans last year. That's why I won Player of the Year. That's why we won PFA Player of the Year. Craziness. The question you really need to ask yourself is it hard? Is it easy to shine and be the best of the best, or be the best of the worst? Is it easier for a diamond to shine amongst other diamonds, or a diamond to shine amongst shit? Village calls it x.com. Are both Arsenal and City rattled? I'm rattled. Last one, I don't consider myself with opposition results until Feb. I like people dropping points, though, yeah? I like it. It's a thing. I like it, and it is a thing. Rye's got a 4.7 on FootMob. He must have been shit. Oh, dear. There's me, guys, being my pure Twitter self. Yeah, people were confused about why was Trossard playing today, but it's because the League Cup counts as... it counts as a game. So, like, the FA Cup and League Cup count towards suspensions. How much added time? I have no idea. I don't have the game on, guys. It's a 3 o'clock kickoff. I'm just waiting for FootMob to tell me how many minutes there are. Gabriel has stayed forward. Oh, this stinks of a Gabriel last-minute winner, doesn't it? Yes, Del Boy. That is exactly what I am saying. I am saying that Cole Palmer, one of the best players in the league last season, is shit. That is definitely what I'm saying. Indeed. There is definitely no sarcasm in my voice right now. +7, there we go. Yeah, they're going to score. Guys, don't worry about it. Just allow it. They do, Jack. God damn it. Why do you hate Gabriel? I don't hate him. I just don't really have too strong thoughts on him either way. Guys, Everton are winning a game of football. Have they won yet this season? Oh, they have. Okay, never mind. Oh, no, this will be their first win. Yeah, Fez. I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine, mate. Your guess is as good as mine. Yeah, oh my god, guys. Where did they get these 7 minutes from? Now the shoe's on the other horn. Go on One Football ratings. I don't have that app downloaded. We don't know Notorious BRG. This is what we're saying. He really shouldn't be. And yet here we are. There's so much copium I have right now, says Matty. As I say, we'll any final questions or thoughts on anything, guys, from today's game, please let me know. You just made the argument that when I said Palmer's better, Foden was bad. Didn't. when I didn't. Then you made that speech about shining and shit versus diamonds. Right? Okay. I'll give you one more chance to get this analogy. Is it easier to shine in shit or to shine amongst other diamonds? Is it easier for a diamond to shine amongst other diamonds, or is it easier for a diamond to shine amongst shit? See if you can figure that one out. I have faith in you. You can do it. I'm rooting for you. No one's being tired and emotional. Chill on me, Dave. Chill. Allow it. I am overtired, and I'm emotional. Yes, and I've not eaten today. I've had some cheese, and that's it. I was supposed to get some food after the game before this, but I didn't have time. So I'm overtired, and I'm hungry, and I'm upset that we didn't get the win today. And I don't know what else. Something else, no doubt. And I don't know when I'm going to be able to go to the gym today, because I want to try to make my analysis video after this, or maybe I'll have to wait until tomorrow. Yeah, that's my... Oh, there we go. It's a goal. Corner Arsenal. That's going to be a goal. Oh, dear. No. Okay, Del Boy. Explain the analogy to me. How have you got the Palmer as shit from that analogy? Explain the analogy to me. Come on. You can do it. I've got faith in you. Come on, mate. Come on. How does that analogy equate to Palmer as shit? Come on. You can do it. What are your thoughts on Nunes, says Jason. Oh my god, did they actually score? Yeah, crazy, man. Absolutely fairs, man. There we go. We actually called it, lads. We actually called it, and there we go. What a shame. Oh, dear. So, yeah, today is an absolute mess of a day. What are your thoughts on Nunes? Do you think we have a player there? There's potentially a player there, but I doubt he's going to be able to become that guy at City, to be honest. I doubt that's going to be a thing. Oh, there we go, lads. So today is an absolute waste of time. An absolute waste of Drossen time. Oh, dear me. There we go. So we were holding on for something and it didn't happen. How is saying Palmer is better than Foden, me saying Foden is shit? No. Don't avoid the question, cheeky. Don't avoid the question, pet. How is me saying that... How is me describing Palmer as a diamond the same as me describing him as shit? Answer, please. Answer, please. Thank you very much. That's so bad. Oh, Leicester, they just got our hopes up, didn't they? They got our hopes up for naught. What a darn shame. And Trossard as well to win a header, I assume. Mad. Why is Trossard being allowed to win a header in the box? Madness. Oh, gosh, guys. We need to sort out our defensive midfielders and defenders. Absolutely. Vardy equaliser, can you imagine, IDK? As I say, Delboy, if you want to actually try to engage in the discussion, let me know. As I say, I literally described him as a diamond, so if you get his shit from that, that's impressive. It was an own goal. Are you joking? Are you actually joking me? It says on FootMob, Trossard scored. It's given it as a Trossard goal. No, Delboy, at no point did I say that you said Foden was shit. I was saying that your analogy just didn't work and you didn't understand my analogy. Again, pet, try one more time. Or just admit that you were wrong. Either work, to be fair. It fell to his feet to the back post. Oh, bloody hell. So it was a bloody fortunate goal, so it wasn't even like a fucking Gabriel stooping one. How upsetting. Not even a header unmarked to the far post goes between some legs. Christ almighty, man. Ben Div, he said that Kovacic and Bernardo played really well, my man. He said they played really well. This is the world that we're living in. This is the world that we are living in. Christ on a bike. So that means, in terms of the table, what does that mean? What does that mean? It means that Arsenal go ahead of us, does it? I think it does. It was a shitter, Fez. Yeah, because they've won 5 games now and dropped points only once. Yeah, so Arsenal go ahead of us. Unreal. I get Saki, my man. Okay, I'm wrong. Thank you. That's all I wanted. Thank you for admitting that. So is Pep's today. Eve, yeah, again, everyone can be wrong. Thank you for quitting whilst you're ahead, though, and accepting you were wrong. Now we can move on with our sad, pathetic lives. Oh. We are top on goal difference. It looks like Arsenal are top, aren't they? Because they've... Wait, what games have they drawn, then? Oh, they drew against Brighton, obvious. Oh, yeah, you guys are right. So are we still top? Oh, Liverpool haven't played yet. Yeah, sorry, lads, I've totally forgot about the Brighton game. Yeah, you're absolutely right. There we go. Interesting. Right, so when Liverpool win, they'll be top. Hey-ho, guys. Hey-ho, guys. It's not the end of the world. We're still top. Can you hear the copium in my voice? Deary me. Right, guys. Liverpool winning 3. Is it at home or is it away? I think it's away. Hey, there's still hope, guys. Lads and guys. Liverpool and Villa could go top. Oh, Christ. Well, again, from my perspective, I still think that Liverpool aren't going to be a threat in the last game of the season, maybe. If I'm being honest here. So I'm still looking at it as an Arsenal situation. So, that is a thing. 4-2. Oh, sorry, did they score again? Or is it offside? Okay, fairs. Yeah, there we go, IDK, yeah. That's all I was saying. I was describing Palmer as a diamond, not shit. I was saying he was surrounded by shit. He was in a bad team, therefore it's easier to play, it's easier to look better in a worse team compared to if you're surrounded by world-class talent and other diamonds, if you're surrounded by Haaland and De Bruyne and Rodri, etc., and you're the best player out of all of that, it's a thing. Big up to you, Del Boy. We can be best friends now. It's all good. We had a stumbly start, but we're now best friends. It's not offside. You guys, this is mixed messages here, lads. It's not offside. There we go. Unreal. Actually unreal. So just to rub salt into the wounds, just try to get the goal difference back up. How unfortunate. Anyway, lads. Today's not been a good day, and they've given it. There you go, 4-2, mad. James Justin, 2 goals and an assist. Absolute baller. And that's a shame, because that's now turned it. Now everyone will look at that and go, oh, they won 4-2. That's quite an easy game. When really, it was thanks to a last-minute corner goal, which is very upsetting. Guys, thank you for joining me. Yeah, today's not been a good day, I'll be real. It's only just started. This has ruined my mood now. I've got so I don't know what I'm going to do now. I don't know if I've got the energy to do an analysis video of that shite right now, or if I'll have to wait to release it to tomorrow. Who is playing tomorrow? Anyone interesting? Ipswich, Villa, United, Spurs. That's relatively interesting. People think Foden's a system player. I would say to that and ask them, did that season not happen last year or what? Yeah. Conclusion, guys, is this is 2 points dropped. Staggered beyond belief that we've dropped points today. Unreal. Annoyed. Thank you so much for your support, though. Thank you to, we had some super chatters. Thank you to Kelkster. Thank you to NCZ, William Dittmer, Amar. Thank you guys so much for your support. If you would like to support, you can always super chat, or you can click that join button. If you would like to, you don't have to, but if you would like to, it does help support me. Shout out to AK Fever, by the way, yesterday, who gifted 5 memberships. Thank you so much to him, of course. Thank you for the support as always. I hope you're able to get some enjoyment from these streams, lads. Hopefully it's like a sort of therapy session. I need to go think about that game again and watch it again, sadly, and have a think about why. I always try to find the logic of why Why did we do this? Why did Pep set us up like that? And that's what I'll try to figure out. That's what I'll try to figure out on my repeat watching. Thank you guys so much again for watching. In fact, tomorrow on the Twitch at 3 p.m, we will be streaming Fall Guys. It's going to be lots of fun. We're going to do custom games, so I want to get as many people in there as possible. So make sure to follow the Twitch. Fall Guys is a free game nowadays as well. So follow the Twitch. It's free to do so. Download Fall Guys. It's free. We're going to be playing it. I didn't time you out, Wiz Gaming. I didn't time you out at all. I don't time anyone out. My moderators time people out. So thank you so much for joining me again. Make sure to join me tomorrow on the Twitch for Fall Guys. Until then, lads, like the video. Have a good rest of your evening if you can. And I'll try to make some sense out of the madness in an analysis video.